Good morning. Good morning. This post is on reconciliation. Oddly enough, I was balancing my checkbook, which brings me insane amounts of joy. There's nothing like having complete control of what you spend. Because I know when I've goofed up, it's a goof up, and usually my bank is right. Every once in a great while, they're not. But I get to reconcile that. I get to go through my checkbook and see where I might be off by a few cents, or why I might be off by like 70 bucks. Usually that 70 bucks means I did a little spending that I forgot about, and at the time it was fun, it was amazing, but I forgot about it, and so I was completely off with my checkbook. And so
continue straight for 14 minutes to exit 1A, 4th and 5th Street.
Ignore my app that I thought I swiped off. It's okay. She'll be quiet for a while because I'm just going straight. This was a moment that was a combination of kid 3 being really angry at me right now, which is his right to be, and listening to Adele because I was in that mood, and balancing the checkbook. It was all three. So my discussion today about reconciliation and reconciling things, again, I was going through my checkbook, and clearly there are some things that you know, I was off by a little bit, I was off by a lot of bit, and that's the cost of the life that I was living a couple weekends ago. I was taking the kids shopping because we needed to get a few things, and I wanted to get a few things, and I forgot about some of the spending I did. We were at IKEA of all places, and it was a couple of things that we were doing. It was buying a new bed base for Devin's bed, and eating together, and we had to go to Target, and there's some other things that we're doing. So I wrote things in because I saw them in the app that day, but I forgot about one of them, and I wrote it in, and then like a week passed, and it didn't get taken out right away. And it was something that, clearly the store remembered, and my bank, it got it eventually, but it didn't get it right away. And I completely ignored the receipt that I had. I forgot about it. So I think in relationships, that's a lot of what we do. There's a tiff, there's a moment of anger. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of relationships that, yeah, things don't go very well, and they end for whatever reason. I usually feel that I've given my 110% for the most part, and when things end, I'm usually at peace with that. However, I've noticed that I've alienated people without even trying. It's a special superpower, because I'm very content being alone at times. In fact, I can confidently say single life suits me. I feel more confident as a mom. I feel more capable in life in general when I don't have someone to check in with on a regular basis. And that sounds bad, it sounds sad, but I'm coming to terms with that, because that's just where I feel confident. And as much as I would love the idea of having a relationship, I'm starting to feel like maybe that's okay, that's not for me, because I'm happier doing my own thing anyway. Which is sad, and at the same time, it's peace feeling. Anyway, my point, because there's usually one, on reconciliation. My son right now is really angry with me, and I get to fix that. And it made me think of relationships in general, where truly the only way someone can really hurt you is if you've allowed them to. If you've allowed them to mean so much to you that when they don't acknowledge it, when they betray your trust, that's something you gave them that they're able to then hurt you with. And if it still hurts, there's still some meaning there. There's still something important and special there. And it's important to remember that that with that, hi Anita, I can barely see your post, but I'm driving, so it would be really, really wrong for me to read it. But I love you, and I'll read it later. It's important to remember, though, that in these relationships you have, there was give and take. I had an aunt, an amazing, beautiful, beautiful aunt, who gave the best hugs, and her kisses were just a little bit wet, but that was just her love. And her marriage advice to me was, you give as much as you get, and just remember that. So when he's driving you nuts, remember that you're driving him nuts too. It was the best, most sound advice I'd ever gotten. And it allowed me to be much more patient than I probably would have been if I only looked at the ways he was making me angry. And that happens in relationships. You know, we forget what we're doing while we're remembering everything they did. We forget that. And like with balancing your checkbook, sometimes when you come back together and you reconcile and you talk about what it was that happened, there's a tiny little tit for tat, and there's a slight difference, and you negotiate that, and you know, make space for that error, and you can say, okay, I owe you a couple of cents back, or you know what, I missed this, and here I get a couple of cents back. And then sometimes there's something big that you didn't even know you did, like my big shopping trip at IKEA that I completely forgot about, that threw things off because I forgot about it. But you get to reconcile that, and you get to decide, is it that important to be right? Is it that important to say, you know, I shouldn't have to pay for this because I forgot about it? No, it's not. You want to make things work, because that's what relationships are. It's give and take, it's push and pull. And I guarantee you, as much as that person has hurt you, you've done the exact same thing to them. And you get to decide what's important to you. And usually, if you're honest with yourself, it's that relationship. Because even years later, if it's still hurting, then that relationship was more important than the argument you forgot about. And in most cases, you did forget about the argument because it wasn't that important. It was your ego, it was your pain, it was your trust that was more important. And sometimes...
Watch out, crash reported ahead.
Sorry about the app. I will turn it off next time. Sometimes you just need to decide, my ego is not more important than this person. Because in life, people are rarely disposable. I mean, how many people do you know that you just don't care about if something happens to them? I mean, that's rare. There are people all over that I care about, that I have moments. And it doesn't need to be a public mourning of a loss of that relationship or that friendship. But it affects you, it matters, because that's what being a human is about. You get to decide that people matter, and that's important, because not everyone gets to do that. Sometimes that choice is taken from you, and I understand that too. But if there's a parent or a friend or a partner or a relationship that you haven't reconciled, go for it. I mean, it's never too late. It's never too late to say sorry about something you did a decade ago. It's never too late to decide, hey, I was wrong. You should know I was wrong. I screwed up. That was kind of what my post yesterday was about. I had, you know, it was kind of a thing for me before the last boyfriend, because I was loyal. I do that in relationships. But before the last boyfriend, I was very much single, and I would walk down the street or drive somewhere. It was mainly when I was driving, because there's safety in your car. And I am guilty of being a street harasser. I am guilty of seeing a beautiful, beautiful man who was God's gift to me running down the street, and I would yell out to him, thank you for what you were doing right now. And that was wrong. It was rude. I mean, I've heard repeatedly that most men don't care, or maybe it's a thing that they don't care about if it's a beautiful person saying it, but realistically, no, it's pretty freaking creepy. Because no, I won't date someone younger, but I yelled at younger men. And it's something that was aggressive. It was something that felt good to me. It was something that was wrong because of how I was treating them. And I get to make up for that. I get to stop doing it. I get to acknowledge the fact that as a woman doing it to a man, it's still wrong. I get to you know, acknowledge that I made a mistake, and I get to do something differently. And yeah, this was over a year ago.
Estimated time in traffic, 16 minutes.
Sorry. This was over a year ago, because my last relationship lasted about 10 months. But at the same time, it's there, and it's not too late to say I was wrong. And that's the thing with relationships. It's never too late to say I was wrong. It's never too late to say I was sorry. It's never too late to say, you mean more to me than that stupid thing we were fighting over. Can we make this work again?
In a quarter of a mile. Exit 2A, Centinela Avenue.
Sorry. I really need to turn that off. But at least it's telling me where I'm going differently. My point, if there's a parent, if there's a relationship, if there's something, it's not too late. It's never too late. You should reconcile. You may find that where you thought they owed you a dime, you actually owed them $10. And I don't mean just money. I mean relationship.
In 1,000 feet, exit right.
So, I'm gonna miss my exit. That's okay. My point is, stop worrying about what happened then and decide that you can change it now. My point is, make that call. Send that email, send that text. So what if they may have deleted you and you have to re-explain who you were to them? Believe me, many have done that to me, and you know, sometimes it's okay. I tend to do this thing where if I, at least when I was online dating, which I'm not now, if someone texts me after, you know, a good week has gone by and I hadn't heard from them, I like to decide they've already told me how they feel and I'm okay with that, and I let them go. So they've had to re-explain who they are. And, you know, it usually comes with a bit of laughter, because I was a bit quick to judge and deleting, and they were very, very passive, which I don't enjoy. And you know, sometimes it's a big deal, sometimes it's not a big deal, but you get to decide what it is to you. You get to change what it is to you. And
exit right to exit 2A, Centinela Avenue.
I'm not missing my exit. At the end of the day, go get your life. Go do what's important to you. Go fix whatever needs to be fixed.
In 900 feet, turn right on South Centinela Avenue. Then turn right.
And you have a great day. Do epic shit. And I promise next time I'll turn off the app. Bye.